It is just before 10 at night, and a family of 3 is about to zip line over the Berlin Wall. Not climb it, not tunnel under it. Slide over it on a steel cable in the dark from the roof of a government building 7 floors above East Berlin. But first, the father has to get the cable across. And to do that, he has a hammer. He has wrapped it in foam rubber so it will not make a sound, and painted it with luminous paint so his helpers on the western side can find it in the dark. Tied to its handle is a thin line, and tied to that line, once it is across, will come the cable that carries his wife and his 9-year-old son to freedom. Less than 12 meters away runs the wall. He swings his arm back and he throws. Tom on Forgotten Europe. What this family is about to attempt is, by almost any measure, the most unlikely escape ever made across the Berlin Wall. And they are going to do it from the roof of one of the most heavily watched buildings in the entire country. A building where, that very night, a Soviet observation post was looking straight at them. More than 5,000 people made it over the wall in the years it stood. Hundreds died trying, but nobody escaped quite like the family on this roof. This is how they did it, and the strange reason nobody fired a single shot. The man with the hammer is named Heinz Holzapfel, an engineer from Leipzig who had spent 2 years quietly planning for this exact minute. He had not always wanted to leave. He survived the Second World War as a young man, joined the party afterward, and believed for a while in what the new state promised. By the early 1960s, the promises had worn thin until the country he had hoped for had become a country he was willing to risk his family's lives to escape. The building under his feet is the House of Ministries, the government's own offices, an entire city block of them, the administrative heart of East Germany. And because of where the wall went up in 1961, one edge of it stood almost on top of the border. The West was close enough to throw a hammer across, which is precisely what Heinz had worked out. For 2 years, on official visits, he had measured this place, the height of the roof, the distance to the wall, the height of the wall itself. He even kept 2 of his entry passes instead of handing them back quietly, so that he always had a way inside. Until he was sure of one insane-sounding idea. If the roof was high enough, and the wall low enough, and the gap short enough, a cable strung from here to the other side would run downhill. Over the wall, into the west. You would not have to climb, you would slide, a zip line, out of a government building, over the deadliest border in Europe. Whether 2 years of planning would really hold a person on a cable over that border was about to be tested, with his own 9-year-old son going first. If you want to see whether it held, take a second to subscribe now. The throw works. The foam-wrapped hammer sails over the wall and lands in the west, trailing a long nylon line behind it, where Heinz's relatives are waiting in the dark. They find it. They tie the line to a steel cable, and Heinz and his wife, Jutta, haul it back up onto the roof, hand over hand, until the heavy cable is theirs. They fix their end to a flagpole. On the western side, more than 100 meters back, the helpers anchor their end to a truck and pull until the cable is stretched tight and steep over the death strip and the wall. The zip line is ready, and it is time to send the first person down. Their son goes first. His name is Günther, and he is 9 years old. His parents fix him to the cable, and in the darkness, the boy slides down the steel line, out over the death strip, over the Berlin Wall, and into West Berlin. A 9-year-old, alone, gliding silently over no man's land, while armed guards stand below. He makes it. Jutta goes next. She fixes herself to the cable and slides down after her son, over the wall into the west. She makes it too. A mother and her boy, standing in the west, looking back up at the roof where the father is still standing alone. 2 of them were safe. He was not. Heinz fixes himself to the cable. He goes to push off from the edge, and he cannot get over it. The cable, with the weight of the 2 people who have already used it, now hangs too low. It sags against the lip of the roof, and Heinz cannot clear it. He is stuck. His wife and his son are on the other side of the wall. He is alone on the roof of the East German government, on a cable that will not let him go. An hour passes, a full hour, on that roof, in the dark, with no way forward and no way back, every minute a minute closer to being discovered. It is Utah, from the western side, who works out the answer. Loosen the cable. Raise the anchor point higher on the flagpole so the line clears the edge of the roof. Heinz does it. He rehangs the cable higher, tests it, and this time, finally, it carries him over the edge. The father slides down the line, over the death strip, over the wall, and into the west, where his wife and son are waiting. And here is the part that almost defies belief. Every second of this happened in plain sight. Up on a nearby vantage point, Soviet soldiers were watching the roof through field glasses. And they saw it. They saw the cable go up. They saw a man struggle at the edge for an hour, loosen the line, re-rig it, and finally slide down it into the west. They had a clear view of the whole thing. And they did nothing, because to them, that was exactly the point. A man working calmly on a cable for an hour in the open, off the roof of a government building, right under an observation post, fixing a technical problem and carrying on. That did not look like a man fleeing for his life. It looked like an operation. It had to be the Stasi, sending agents into the West on some secret job. Nobody escaping would ever be so visible, so unhurried, so obvious. So the soldiers watched, assumed it was all going according to plan, and held their fire. The very openness of the thing is what made it invisible. The Holzapfels were saved by being too obvious to suspect. They themselves only learned they had been watched at all years later, when they read it in the files. But the night cost them one thing. Somewhere on the way down, in the rush of it, Heinz lost his grip on the briefcase, the one with all their documents. It fell into the east, behind them. And that briefcase is the reason we know this night in such detail. Because the Stasi found it. Within hours, the secret police had the names. Holzapfel, Heinz, his wife, Utah, their 9-year-old son. The report they wrote up survives to this day. And it is from that report, the report of the very people they escaped from, that much of this story comes. The regime that built a wall to keep its people in had been outwitted from the roof of its own ministry, and it learned who had done it from a briefcase they dropped on the way out. In the West, it was a sensation. Within days, the newspapers had the story. The family that flew over the wall on a steel cable, out of the government's own building, under the noses of Soviet soldiers who did nothing. In the East, the response was quieter and grimmer. Security around the House of Ministries was tightened immediately. As far as anyone knows, no one ever tried to escape from that roof again. The Holzapfels settled in Munich and built a new life. They were among the more than 5,000 people who made it across the Berlin Wall in the years it stood. Most did it through tunnels or hidden in cars, or by swimming, or by sheer desperate luck. Only one family did it on a zipline off a government roof. And the boy, the 9-year-old who went first, who slid alone into the dark, not knowing if his parents would follow. He grew up, and as an adult, years later, he told the story himself, of the night his father threw a hammer over the Berlin Wall, and his family slid into the West. There is one last thing. The building they escaped from is still there. Today, it belongs to the German government again, but a different German government. It houses the Federal Ministry of Finance. and the ministry tells this story itself. On a wall beside the building, a comic strip retells the escape. Parts of that building once stood inside the death strip. Some of the last remnants of the Berlin Wall are still there, beside it, to this day. A wall was built to hold people in. A family slid over it on a cable, out of the regime's own roof, while its guards watched and did nothing. And the place they fled now keeps their memory in the open for anyone who walks past. The wall is mostly gone now. The family got out. I'm Tom. This was Forgotten Europe. I'll see you in the next one.